Yo, Rocco B Scotty G, highly explicit NFL podcast. We're back, episode 22. Holy shit, we got 4 more weeks until the NFL season kicks off. We got Rocco B. I'm bringing the heat from Louisville, Kentucky, and we got my boy Scotty G in California.
How you doing?
4 weeks, baby. We got 4 weeks till the Cowboys go to Tampa Bay.
I can't wait.
And then,
how the hell does your team get the fucking opening game here?
I don't want the opening game, okay? We're going to get fucking smacked.
I knew you guys played them week 1. Did I know you guys were literally the beginning of the NFL season? No, and I think that's
Tampa Bay.
Is it Tampa Bay or is it your fucking Dallas Cowboys that get sucked off by everyone in society here?
It's a good point, but I think they just figured out, hey, we're going to get ratings for both teams. Tampa Bay is going to open up that fucking stadium with 75,000 people that are going to be shooting in their fucking shorts after they just won the Super Bowl in the same stadium. And now they got to bring in the Dallas Cowboys, which Jerry Jones, which thank goodness he finally fucking realized, hey, I fucked this up with Jimmy Johnson. Now we're going to put him in the Ring of Honor, and, I wish I kept him 25 years ago. Yeah, thanks, Jerry. A little too fucking late.
Yeah, we're going to have Mr. Danucci leading the charge here probably.
Oh, well, it's either going to be Danucci
fucking Danucci the douchey.
Or Garrett Gilbert. But I'll tell you what, I don't even want to talk about my quarterback. We'll get into that in a minute. But, Scotty boy, we got a lot to catch up on. We're going to talk about all 32 today. We're going to talk about every team in the fucking league. We don't want to become an ESPN. We don't want to become a Fox Sports or CBS Sports. We want to talk about every team, and we're going to get right to it. We're going to get into a little bit of a rapid-fire action. So are you ready?
Born ready, my friend.
Why don't we start with the division that's the most must-see, and it was the worst division last year in the NFL, the NFC East. Let's start off with, shocker, the Dallas Cowboys. Like I told you, they are coming into Tampa Bay for the first game of the season. They're going to get their asses kicked. But let's talk about the quarterback. Let's talk about Dak Prescott. The fact that he admitted that he had 2 surgeries on the broken ankle. And now he's going to get his second MRI on his little lat strain in his rear delts and his upper right shoulder. You know why this guy's having problems now with his shoulder and his lat on his right throwing side? The fucking guy is not a natural thrower of the football. I've told you many times, his mechanics are awful. Have you ever seen a guy have to go into such a super aggressive type of hip warm-up like we've gotten, have you seen the past couple of years, the dacking, the warm-up where he's doing the whole hip fucking in the pregame where he's warming himself up.
Do you know how much pussy this guy got probably from those hip thrusts? The women at home are probably like, this guy.
I'll tell you what.
He's got the moves. I don't know if he can throw a football.
But not on the fucking football field.
Those hips can move.
He can go in his sleep number fucking bed that he's fucking promoting every fucking other commercial I see on NFL Network. But I'm going to tell you what. He can't do it on the field. Have you ever heard Tom Brady having a throwing arm strain? Have you ever heard of Peyton Manning or Drew Brees?
Maybe he's trying to advertise himself for Dancing with the Stars post
that's a great fucking point. But
maybe?
Guess what? He ain't fucking advertising himself as a winning Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Give me Garrett Gilbert any fucking day of the week with this team that we got.
You'd rather Gilbert than Dak Prescott?
I don't. This guy's getting $400,000 fucking $1 million. He's getting like $45 million a year.
I have no words for you. To me, Dak Prescott's a top 10 quarterback in the league.
He's no way. Yeah, maybe in stats. We've talked about that. He's not going to live up to this fucking contract unless Dan Quinn, DQ, gets this fucking defense going, and I think he will. But Dak Prescott has to stay healthy, and he has to stop putting us behind the 8 ball. Okay. Let's get off the Dallas Cowboys.
No. I'm not done with Dallas Cowboys real quick. You think are you saying that this guy turns the ball over too much? Is that your whole thing?
Prescott? He doesn't turn the ball over at all, really.
Then what do you mean he
can't
gives
lead
everybody else ahead?
He can't lead the team down when we need a touchdown. He can't. He all of a sudden explodes when we're down 21. Down 24. Then he brings us back to 7.
Well, if your defense could stop a nosebleed, maybe that wouldn't be happening. Two things, real quick. 2 things, and we get off this fucking squad. One, saw the first half of the first episode of Hard Knocks. It was a snooze fest. It wasn't very good. I'm like so sick of seeing the Cowboys on this. There's not a whole lot going on. Zeke acts like he's 10 years old, and I don't know. The rest of the squad is not really entertaining. But I will say they show his injury, and this guy's nuts. You see him hit his leg against the ground. He tried to snap it back into place. He's fucking crazy. But outside of that, Dak Prescott, shoulder injury. I know you don't like him. I know you like Mr. fucking Gilbert Grape over here. But let me tell you, or tell me, how serious are you taking this situation?
It's a serious.
Is this going to affect his whole 2021 season?
It's a serious situation. It's telling me that, again, the reason why I said started off with the fact that he is not a natural thrower. Not only is it now his mechanics, but now he's overcompensating for the fucking ankle. That is a big time deal. It's a compound fracture. He's got to come back from that. And now you're going to tell me that his throwing shoulder is fucked and he wants a second MRI 3 weeks before the season?
He's just got to thrust the hips a little harder and he's going to be fine.
Exactly.
Let's move on.
Let's get back to the sleep number bed and take care of it, Dak. But I'm going to tell you what, the Philadelphia Eagles, have we been saying since April, Devontae Smith may just be a little too fucking small for the league, huh? Isn't he out already with an injury? Oh, yeah, that's right. He's already fucking out. So unbelievable that, I don't know, that we saw that he's 147 pounds at Alabama and he was 147 and a half pounds at the draft. Maybe that's not going to work out. We're going to see. I think it's going to be more of the fucking same shit with Devontae Smith. But Eagles fans, guess what? You guys may have the new Victor Cruz. Did you see Quez Watkins in that game against Pittsburgh?
Dr. Tomas been raving about this dude, just to give him a little credit here.
Ran a 4.34 at the fucking draft a year ago, and he didn't play all year last year until week 15. This kid may be...
He could be.
The best, right?
I got one more thing for you for the Eagles before we move on. I was talking to Dr. Tomas earlier, and it kind of brought a couple things to light. His boy, Tyree Jackson, he's like the fourth string tight end now. He was an offensive lineman that converted to tight end.
Okay.
I think he's undrafted out of Buffalo College, or maybe they drafted him. I'm not sure. I think he was undrafted. But the whole point of this story is the fact he's looking good already in preseason. I don't really give a fuck about him. He's fourth string tight end. What that tells me is Mr. Zach Ertz is almost guaranteed to be on the move. So where are we thinking, real quick? Where do we think he's going? Because I'm putting my money probably on the New York Jets.
Number one, I can't believe he's still on the squad. Number two, like I told you, I'm going to stick to my guns. Like I told you a couple episodes ago, I think he's going to Indianapolis. I think he'll go back with Reich, and they're going to go back with Wentz, and they're going to I think bring him in. I just don't understand how he's still on the fucking roster. To be honest,
I think Joey D might go try to get him, especially if Herndon doesn't look too hot in preseason.
And that's a good point.
We'll see.
But we'll see what he's going to take. I don't think anybody's going to give up more than a fourth or fifth round pick for this guy. So we'll see. He looked slow, and it looks like Dallas Goedert's team with Philadelphia.
Yeah, right now he's slotted as the second tight end. He's not even number one right now.
Now let's go to the New York Giants. What the fuck is going on with the Giants? They're fighting with each other in practice. That led to 3 separate retirements. 2 guys on the offensive line, Joe Looney and Zach Fulton. And then you got a fucking linebacker, Todd Davis, who says, yeah, we're done. And then they said, oh, hey, fat ass.
We're done.
Fat ass, Kelvin Benjamin. You've been fucking eating too much KFC. You're off the fucking squad now, too. We brought you back because we thought maybe your fat ass would work at tight end. Nope, that didn't work out.
That dude needs to get out of the league, man. He needs to go join Weight Watchers
yes.
and either and fucking go do something else healthy, because for whatever reason, football ain't it for him. The guy doesn't care. He doesn't want to be here. Every time he's on a team, he just gets overweight and slow and sluggish and don't do shit.
He's a long way away from catching a national championship pass from Jameis Winston from Florida State, I'll tell you that. And then it came out today that Deion Lewis retired, running back from the Giants, who they were thinking about bringing back, and now he just said, I'm done, I'm going to retire. There's the big question, though. Joe Judge, people are coming out and saying that this guy is a fucking egomaniac. What do you do with your coach? We all know what happened last year. He had a big fight with Mark Colombo, offensive line coach, and fired his ass because they had a disagreement. What do you think Giants fans are thinking right now? Is Joe Judge like Mr. Dictator, and like, you know, these players are going to be like, fuck this guy?
He's a typical Bill Belichick fucking disciple. They're all trying to be Bill Belichick, and you can't be Bill Belichick unless you win right out of the gates. And honestly, Bill Belichick, I don't even think was as hard as he is, because he had Parcells ease him into that role, and Parcells was a winner too. You can't have that without success pretty soon on. And honestly, Belichick himself fired and fucking kicked out on the streets as a free agent defensive coordinator if it wasn't for Tom Brady coming out of the fucking woodwork. So, honestly, he's doing what all the disciples do. But I'm just going to real quick, because I had this talk with Dr. Tomas too. Are we really saying that Joe Judge is the reason these guys are retiring? Because I'm not ready to say that. Are you saying these guys are willing to retire? You have every motherfucker coming out here saying, hey, I want off a squad. I want off a team. I want to be traded. I want to do that. And these guys just decide they're going to give up their entire career because they don't like a coach? Why not just get cut? Why not get traded? Half of them aren't even starters. Like, it doesn't make sense. I find it hard to believe they're retiring because of Joe Judge. I'm going to defend him on that. He might be an asshole. He might be an egomaniac. But I can't believe these guys are retiring because of that.
I'm going to agree with you.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I just think that it's such a coincidence that these guys are retiring on the same team after these fights. Maybe it's just these guys are realizing, hey, we don't want to fucking do this anymore. This is not the NFL that we know, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, maybe.
But there's got to be something there. There's got to be something there with the way that these guys are coming out and saying the Judge is such an egomaniac, such a dictator. I think it's going to hurt the Giants in the long run. It's such a damn shame. But what did I tell you? This is going to lead up. What I tell you? This is going to lead up to fucking Mr. Clapp being the New York Giants head coach next year, Jason Garrett. Now,
yeah, you're 100% right.
Now let's talk about Washington. I honestly really believe that Washington. I'm going to start calling them the Washington Red Tails because I believe they're going to be the Red Tails starting next year. I think that's really what their team name is going to be. Josh Allen. Oh, I can't wait to talk about Josh Allen. Jonathan Allen, defensive lineman, got re-signed. Makes him the fourth highest paid defensive lineman in the league. Pairs
Huge.
him up
That's a big
that defensive
big
line
sign.
is so fucking amazing. He's going to be next to Daron Payne. You got Montez Sweat on the edge, and then you got fucking Chase Young on the other edge.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't know if you guys watched any of that preseason game, but Chase Young was a fucking monster.
Chase Young is a monster. Montez Sweat.
He's about to take over the league.
Was talking
like the next
about
J.J. Watt in this league.
You know what we talked about last episode about Gastineau and Klecko having the fucking all-time sack record, but yet it wasn't.
We should talk about that again.
It was unofficial. The official sack record is 39. And Montez Sweat came out and said, hey, listen, me and fucking Chase Young have been talking about all offseason. We want to set the new record. Imagine these two motherfuckers having 20-plus sacks apiece. I can see it happening because that D-line is so good.
I also want to give a little shout-out to this guy, Jared Patterson, the running back undrafted, also out of Buffalo. Buffalo got some studs that nobody fucking knew about.
He's a midget, too.
He looked great. Mm-hmm. And again, this is just preseason. But, there are some things that spark and are kind of the seeds are planted in preseason. But unfortunately, they got Fitzpatrick, man. I still don't think they make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, that goes perfect segue to what I was about to say. I really believe that the dark horse to land Mr. Masseuse, Deshaun Watson, is the Washington football team. I believe that they are going to realize that Fitzpatrick is, of course, just our one-year answer. And if they believe...
So you think... an organization that just basically got out of the limelight for being basically racist and insensitive to indigenous people should now embrace a guy who's basically considered a fucking rapist.
He loves
and sexist and
he
sexual
loves
harasser.
to get he loves
How
to get
does that make sense?
No, he loves to get tugged on a massage table. Has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with indigenous people. And they also have to get more into the winning light. They have to start winning fucking games. And this defense is amazing. They got a nasty offense now with bringing in Curtis Samuel.
Honestly, the whole team is amazing besides the fucking quarterback. And I like Fitzpatrick. I just don't believe in him long term.
He is the one-year guy. He is the stopgap. If they can bring in Deshaun Watson, which I believe now his asking price is going to be a lot lower than it was 2 months ago. I believe they can get in and get him. So I believe that Washington's a dark horse to get him. Now, you want to talk about preseason. You want to talk about running backs who kind of show you a little something. Let's go over to the AFC East, shall we? And let's talk about the New England Patriots. Did you see fucking Ramondre Stevenson from Oklahoma?
Yeah, he looked good. You should have seen your boy Maurice Jones-Drew. I don't know if you're watching the game.
He's terrible.
Dude, he is really the worst.
He's the worst.
I liked him as a player, but like he is the worst analysis, dude. They started talking about him, and Willie McGinnis is like, he talking about him, and then all of a sudden, Maurice Jones-Drew is like, yeah, I know all about him. I scouted him. And then Willie McGinnis calls him out and goes, yeah, you said he was big and he was overweight and slow. And Maurice Jones-Drew goes, yeah, well, he was. I guess he slimmed down. Like, that's your analysis? That's what you came off of?
And then shockingly, like he'll go into something that he did. Like he'll be like, "Oh, well, I remember when I was with the Jaguars, I ran for 1,600 yards in 2003."
Yeah, and it's like, I want to
shut the fuck up.
I want to be like Maurice. He looked really overweight and slow when he fucking ran 91 yards and all fucking both teams are chasing after him.
So now, granted, okay, we're going to talk about it's preseason game 1. I get it, but Ramondre Stevenson is one of the guys I thought coming out from Oklahoma that could have made the team with New England, and I think they were going to use him as like the Blunt type back. It looks like he's got a little bit more speed than LeGarrette Blunt did. But what do you think? Here's the big question: what do you think it's going to take for Mac Jones to take over this team this year?
A fucking a sneeze, a fucking a breeze to come by, a bird to take a shit on a car windshield.
So what do you think? So you're telling me when does Cam sit?
Newton's got no shot in this fucking offense. He looked like trash. Mac Jones looked fucking good last night.
Yeah.
I hate to say this because I was not a Mac Jones fan. Yeah. I'm still not a Mac Jones fan, and I hope I'm fucking right on him sucking because I don't want the Patriots to thrive. But this dude looked good last night.
Yep.
He looked good.
Yeah, you want to talk about...
If I was a Patriots fan, I'm excited. I'm like, oh, this looks like Brady-esque.
Yeah, you want to talk about a guy in an offensive coordinator like McDaniels making the team's game plan show your quarterback out. That's what Green Bay needs to do with Jordan Love in this preseason. But New England's doing it now with Mac Jones. And now it's killing Cam because now Cam can't do shit because he can't do shit. And now Mac Jones is going to be like, oh, I'm a better fit. Bada boom, bada bing. They put him right in.
One thing also to add before we move on. I know you were fucking obsessed with these tight ends coming in. Your boy Hunter Henry's already missing multiple weeks for a shoulder injury.
Unbelievable.
This guy, I don't even know what to say. He can't stay healthy.
But they got Jonnu Smith, so don't worry about him.
Jonnu.
Now, all right, now I know this was a little soft part of the subject here that I wanted to kind of wait for, but I got to get right to it. I got to get right to it. Zachy Dub.
Let's talk about
Zachy Dub, and he's not looking so hot with gangrene right now. He's not looking so hot.
Up and down. He's a rookie. He's up and down games, up and down practices.
We haven't even seen him in preseason yet. I get it, but let me just ask you one question: are you having any type of Justin Fields remorse yet? Like any of it?
Not yet.
Okay.
None yet. Not yet.
Give it a couple weeks.
Maybe a week.
When is Scotty G's panic button? When do you hit the panic button? Give me like the month.
Probably like the first interception. I'm probably gonna just fucking just shoot it down. It was like when Darnold's first pass ever was a fucking pick six. I was like, oh, well, we fucked up. This is done. Reset the clock.
Oh man. It's the only thing I'll tell you. What I told you at the draft. He looks small.
I'm not gonna panic. There's still a lot of good things being said about him. I mean, but go ahead.
There's no panic. I'm not saying you should panic. He hasn't even fucking played a legitimate game yet. But what I would say is like I told you at the draft, he looks tiny. He looks small. I'm worried about can he take not only the punishment, but can he see over fucking Mekhi Becton? Can he see over these guys enough to where he's not having to roll out of the pocket and fucking get his vision? He's not a guy who can just sit back there and say, hey, how you doing? I'm 6'4", and I'll see over the fucking line. He's not that guy. So I just hope that's the biggest thing that I take away is it looks like everything I'm watching from Jets camp is he's moving. He's rolling out. He's not in the pocket.
Just to add to that point, Rock, I looked at our offensive line. I think Elijah Vera Tucker, who unfortunately is going through a little like pec injury or something right now, he's like 6'3", 6'4".
Yep.
The rest of the fucking offensive line averages like 6'5",
They're monsters,
6'6",
bro.
And the two backup guys are like 6'8". They're huge.
They're monsters. They're monsters. That's why I didn't say Vera Tucker because he probably is the smallest guy you have, and he's still 6'3", 6'4". So
real quick though, because it's my squad, I just got to throw out a couple things. One, Elijah Moore hurt, not happy about it. He better fucking get healthy.
Yeah.
Two, on a positive note, Carl Lawson and Michael Carter, running back, look phenomenal apparently in camp.
Carl Lawson's a stud.
Yeah. And then Austin and Hall are actually not looking terrible, apparently. I still think we need secondary help like it's going out of style, but that's a little promising. And then the one thing I wanted to bring up, which is very troubling, and I need your thoughts on this. I need you to walk me off the edge here. Denzel Mims. Big fan. Love the guy. They're calling him a roster bubble spot now because they said his style of play doesn't fit the offense. They said LaFleur's offense is very route running, and it requires you to have precision route. And Mims has always been more of a kind of like, he's more of a deep guy. He's more of a, Mike Evans. He's more like a Mike Evans to where it's like he's like a 50-50 kind of go up and get the ball. And they're saying because of that, he's not
like
fitting the offense. He's not fitting the offense as well. And he's already been moved to the second string, and there's been rumors about potentially even moving him after 1 year.
Yeah.
Please tell me I'm overreacting. Please tell me to get off the ledge. Please tell me this is going to fix itself.
I wish I could, because he's not the current regime's guy. He was drafted under Adam Gase.
No. He was drafted last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Last year was Joe Douglas's first draft. This is
No,
his
but I'm
second
saying
draft.
with Adam Gase, like he's, Saleh and LaFleur weren't there.
It was a different offense.
Yeah, it's a whole different offense. And now you're talking about Elijah Moore, which they're saying he can play any fucking spot. Forget about 1, 2, or 3. It's all spots he can play. Then you got Crowder, which they paid. They're not going to get rid of Crowder. He is the legitimate slot. And then you just paid all that fucking money to Corey Davis. Mims could be number one. He's the number 4 guy right now, if you think about it. Number 2 is if he is, like you said, if he's like Dez, if he's like Evans, where he's kind of like a one-trick pony, Will Fuller, and he's not the best route runner and not, all that kind of shit, and the fact that he really can't stay healthy, that's not good. And if he can't play special teams, he's gone, bro. And that sucks.
And for Jet fans listening out there, I heard that apparently part of the reason he started off on third string. Apparently part of the reason he started off on third string is he had some kind of stomach virus, and he lost like 20 pounds or something. So he was coming into camp like trying to get back into shape or whatever it was. So that definitely has a factor. But everything else I'm hearing is not. It's not reassuring. I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, that sucks. And it's a second-round pick that, like I said, it was the previous.
And I thought he looked good last year.
Yeah, but again, like you said, if you can't roll with the offensive coordinator and how he wants to throw his offense out, I don't know. It doesn't look good. Like I said, if he's not a special teams guy, it doesn't look like he's going to be a Jet. Now let's get over to the Miami Dolphins, and I just got one thing to say, and you know where I'm going. Tua Tagovailoa, to me, the only thing you can talk about with Miami this year is he has no more excuses. His pass catchers now that they have given him, they got Devontae Parker, they bring in Will Fuller, they draft Jalen Waddle, they still got Preston Williams, and they still got the tight end Mike Gesicki who can catch everything. People are saying he's getting comfortable with the offense in the second year. He's looking good in the offseason, blah, blah, blah. That guy has to prove it to me on the field that Alabama just didn't cover up the fact that he doesn't have the it factor. I don't believe he does. And guess what? If he can't prove it with this fucking roster and the running backs that he's got.
This is one of the best rosters in the league.
And Brian Flores, who is a fantastic coach. You want to talk about opposite of Joe Judge as far as from the Belichick tree. Nobody's talking about this guy being a fucking dictator. Miami is going to be great if they can get the quarterback, because I don't think Tua is going to do it.
I agree with you. I think he is going to do it, but I agree with it all depends on Tua. I will just say this one little snippet, and we can kind of move on from it. I do find it slightly alarming that your boy Fitzmagic made a statement after, I guess, the Washington game. He said, I thought that starting Tua was a joke. He said he was floored by the decision when Brian Flores came to him and told him that Tua was going to start whatever week it was. I forget what it was. Because if you remember, they were actually doing pretty well. They lost like a couple games.
I told you that's the only reason why they missed the playoffs.
I know, and I understand Fitz being, upset about it. But what kind of threw me through a loop is Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator, was also against it and confused on his statement about it, which tells me that locker room and that front office was not all on board with starting Tua over Fitz, which already puts a lot more pressure, like a lot more on Tua's shoulders, because if he has a bad start to the season, this locker room might quit on him.
Yeah, absolutely, and I believe that that's the reason why they missed the playoffs is because a couple of those losses that Tua played knocked Miami out of the playoffs. This year, there's no more Fitzmagic, no more guy to fucking just rely on if you want to. If Tua, starts throwing balls in the dirt, it's gonna happen this year, or it's not, and I believe it's not. Now, I just wanted to kind of clear the air, clear the floor for you, pal, because this is where I want to hear your opinion. Josh Allen, he gets his new deal, new huge extension.
I love it.
It's a gigantic deal. Now,
So happy.
if you want to talk about in my numbers that I do, that I crunch, and
Yeah,
you want to
let's
talk
go
about,
right back to him. Let's go
you
right
want
back
to
to
talk about the Super Bowl secret sauce, Buffalo fans, with this new deal, you guys better win a Super Bowl either this year or next year, because once 2023 hits, he goes to 18% of the cap, and as we all know, 12% of the cap is the number, and he's under 12 these next 2 years, way over 12 after 2023. The floor is yours, Scotty G.
That's all I was gonna say. You stole my thunder already. 6 years, $258 million with the opportunity to be $288 million on incentives. He's got the highest. First off, how did this Jerkoff get the highest guaranteed per year with a what was it, $150 million compared to Mahomes, $141.5 million? Are you kidding me? I understand. I've had the conversation with you. The highest paid quarterback is usually the next paid quarterback.
Absolutely.
But this is kind of insane to me. And I mean, honestly, if I'm a Buffalo fan, which I'm not, but if I was, I don't know if I'm 100% happy with this deal. Because are you really that sold on fucking Josh Allen after 1 year of him being fucking awesome? Now, a lot of people
Scotty,
are.
that's not the problem.
I'm not. And my whole thing is just exactly what you said. I love this deal. Sooner the better. Because I don't even know if it's 2 years. I think it's this season. And I guess you're right. I guess it's this season and next season. If they don't get it done, it's over. Because you might keep Stephon Diggs. Yeah, you might keep one or two other guys. Yeah. You might keep one or two other guys, but that offensive line ain't getting all paid. Yep. The defensive line ain't getting all paid. That all those other wide receivers.
Tremaine Edmonds, see you later.
Tremaine Edmonds ain't staying.
Yep.
So you're going to keep one to three of these fucking foundation pieces, which means the rest of the squad, because right now, again, people don't understand, this team is phenomenal. This is a good fucking team. It's not just Josh Allen. And we're going to see real quick in a hurry how much Josh Allen is actually impacting that team once he starts losing a little help around him. And I get it. Everyone needs help. I'm not saying, it wouldn't affect anybody, but I think people think he's so good that the drop-off with a little less help wouldn't be that significant. And I'm here to tell you, I think it's going to be significant.
I just can't wait because this is actually going to prove out your point. In 2 years, when they lose a lot of pieces and they put more on Josh Allen's shoulders, what do they look like? I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, and if they're phenomenal, I gotta fucking eat crow and say,
absolutely. But
fuck that guy.
They got a window of 2 more years, baby. 2 more years. Now, let's head down south, shall we? Let's go to the NFC South. The team that's going to demolish my Dallas Cowboys, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are they unstoppable? I mean, are they going to be unstoppable this year, Scotty? I mean, just give it to me.
The Bucs?
How can they be beat?
How are they going to be beat? What do you mean how they're going to be beat?
They got everybody back. Everybody's back. They drafted well.
They're going to be beat by one or two things if they get beat. I don't think they're going to get beat, but if they get beat, it's going to be one or two things. It's going to be Brady finally takes a significant fall off, which I don't know if that's going to happen. Or two, there's injuries. The only thing I would say for people
but they're so deep.
The only people I would say who hate on Brady, and I'm one of them. I don't like Brady, but I got to give him credit. I got to give him respect where respect is due. But the one thing I will say is, the one thing I always bet on is when he's got like a something to prove. And honestly, he ain't got much to prove this year, man. He ain't got much to prove this year.
He wants to win a Super Bowl in front of 70,000 people and repeat like he did with New England. And I'm going to tell you.
That's the only thing I could see is he wants to like fucking repeat or three-peat. And then he's like, that's how I want to go out.
And then I'm done.
And done.
And the crazy thing is if Tom Brady gets hurt or banged up this year, you know who's going to get inserted in there and who can probably win in this Bruce Arians system with these players? Kyle fucking Trask. Is that nuts or what?
I can't wait.
So, but I think they're going to be unstoppable, and I really believe that it's going to be a repeat as long as, like you said, they stay healthy. Now, you want to talk about a team that's going to lead us into episode 23. Our next episode is going to be all about fantasy. We're going to fucking get you ready for the fantasy season. This team, to me, is an offensive fantasy monster. But that's about it. That's the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan, Kyle Pitts, Mike Davis, Calvin Ridley. You might even get a little fucking Russell Gage action in there. Maybe even Hayden Hurst, depending on how Arthur Smith uses the 2 tight end system. Atlanta is going to be an offensive juggernaut. They can't stop fucking anybody.
I'm not as sold on them as you are. I do think they're going to be good. I don't know. I gotta look into their offensive line. I really don't know shit about their offensive line, but I mean, I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see what Mr. fucking Pots and Pans does. So we'll see.
Pots and pans. I thought they would have had Julio, but now that they don't, I think it's going to be a little bit more pots and pans centric. But again, we all love Mike Davis. I think he's going to be a fucking touchdown stud. And Matt Ryan still can play. So we're going to see, but they don't have any defense that's going to stop anybody, and Arthur Smith is an offensive guy. You want to talk about being in trouble in that division, the New Orleans Saints. Michael Thomas now with his fucking stupidity, waiting to have surgery till June. His little rift with Sean Payton, that's not pretty damn public.
Where is he going, by the way?
That's putting Mr. Crab Legs on an island without any fucking help, and that's not a good look for Jameis Winston. So I don't like where the Saints are going to be. I think Mike McCarthy's going to fucking not do a great job again with the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to see Sean Payton be the Dallas Cowboys coach in 2022. But where do you see the Saints in 2021?
Well, here's two things. First off, Michael Thomas is going to be gone, so we got to figure out where he's going to go. But secondly,
they can't trade him. They got
why can't they trade him?
$35 million in dead cap. They can't trade him. So there's
no way he's gone.
No, they're in deep shit.
Okay, well let me ask you this. If assuming that's correct, because I don't know, I don't got the fucking numbers in front of me.
You got to trust me.
You talk like you know what you're talking about.
You got to trust me.
I'll roll with it, I guess. But the other thing is, you're talking about Mr. Crablegs. Is this not alarming that they're literally saying they don't even have a fucking starting QB named yet? They're saying Taysom Hill still could be the starting QB.
They're gonna have to do a little two jab action because Winston can't take this himself. He can't.
I don't know why. I don't know why he wouldn't be able. He was one of the top passers in the league last time we saw him.
Who's he passing to? He's not passing to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin anymore.
And then real quick, I just wanted to give a shout out to my boy Brian Poole, signed a 1-year deal with them. So I'm happy to see him go there. But the problem is they got nobody else in the secondary. So he's going to be on an island just like he was with the Jets with no help around him. Yep. So he's probably going to get overlooked.
Yeah, because Patrick Robinson just retired. So the cornerback position where it was already super fucking weak, they bring in Brian Poole, who I couldn't believe he hasn't been signed since August, which is insane. And then Patrick Robinson says, I'm done. See you later. So now they got Lattimore, who's nasty. But, he's got to stay on the field. And then now Brian Poole, not bad. But at the same time, that offense is going to be in trouble. Now, let's get back to your boy, Sammy D, Mr. First Pass, Pick 6. Carolina is putting all their fucking organic pasture-raised eggs in the fucking basket of Sammy D.
I heard it's not good. I heard bad things right now.
Do you believe that he can come out of these doldrums like he's having in this offseason? He's not doing well. And can you trust that Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy?
I don't trust McCaffrey to stay healthy. I think McCaffrey might be one of those players that we see long-term is like healthy every other year or every couple years because I just think he's too small. And the way he plays like a violent fucking monster. And I think he's phenomenal. I hope he stays healthy because he's so elite in this league.
Yep.
I just have a tough time believing it.
I agree.
And then Darnold, I'm a huge Darnold fan, and I think I would love to see Darnold succeed, but I just keep hearing worse and worse things. I'm hoping it's because it's a new offense and this and that, but we'll see. I'm a little nervous for him. Like my ideal situation is week 1, Jets win, but Darnold looks fantastic.
That game, I hope really that I can see most of it because Carolina and the Jets is to me such a game that is like so fucking sexy to watch because you got Zachy Dub, Sammy D.
You and me, not the rest of the country.
I understand, but it's a good storyline. Sammy D's playing his whole fucking team. You got Zachy Dub the first game. I like it. So. You got 2 new coaches, Salah's the coach for the Jets. Second-year coach would rule with Carolina. I can't wait for that game because I want to see who fucking plays better quarterback in that game. I really do. Now, let's stay in the South, and let's go to the AFC. Talk about a bunch of J's. You're talking about Jackrabbit, Janoris Jenkins, and Julio Jones making Tennessee, I believe, the fucking favorite in the AFC South. What do you think?
I would disagree with you, but it's hard for me to disagree with you right now with what's going on in Indianapolis. So I'm gonna probably stick with you on that for right now. I'm still not a believer in a lot of these guys. I'm just not. I don't know what it is with Tennessee. I'm just not really sold on.
So you don't like a 2,000-yard running back in Derrick Henry? You don't like a Ryan Tannehill who came from who reclaimed his career, and now all of a sudden they bring in. Coming off of a year where A.J. Brown's going to be a stud, then they bring in Julio Jones. I don't understand how you don't like this team.
I just think they're fugazi.
You think they're fugazi?
I think the Fugazi. I think Derrick Henry is gonna he can't do this every year. Who is he gonna do? Is he gonna be the best running back of all time?
I
Is
think
he
he
the best
can.
running back of all time? And you Ryan Tannehill. I still think it's smoke and mirrors with this motherfucker.
Oh man, I can't believe you're going smoke and mirrors. I'm not saying I love Tannehill, but the guy's for real, and this team is coached well.
AJ Brown's not super sexy to me. I know you love the guy, but he's not super sexy to me either. And then Julio, I think Julio might be done.
Jiminy
he might have a
Christmas.
year or two left. So the whole squad is like a bunch of question marks.
There is something. There's a Josh Allen type feel with you with the Titans. And I don't know what the fuck's going on with it.
I'll say this. After this season, they don't even have to win the division. But after this season, if all those guys look good, I will say I was wrong, and these guys are legit. But a season and a half of Ryan Tannehill and multiple. I mean, I got to get Derrick Henry's a stud. I'll give it to you. He's a stud. But these guys, the way he runs, that's like a 3-year window, and he's been doing it for 5 years.
He's coming. It's coming down, but I think he's still got another 2 years probably of elite play. Plus, he's the biggest fucking running back anybody's ever seen. So it's not like the same old 5'8", 200-pound running back. He's a different fucking cat.
I also don't like their defense. Their defense is trash.
Yeah, I like the addition of Bud Dupree. Janoris Jenkins coming in, gives him a corner. They drafted Caleb Farley. If he can play like Dr. Tomas thinks he can play, that's going to be a nasty secondary. But let's get to Indy, because Indy, don't let me tell you I told you so, but what the fuck is with Carson Wentz? He's made of glass. The guy is made of glass. And I told you for years, this guy, they want to talk about potential. They want to talk about what he could do, his whatever. What is your best ability? Your best ability is availability. I don't give a shit about your potential. I don't give a shit about how great they think you can be, what you've shown in a fucking 12-game fucking stretch, whatever. I don't give a shit. If you're not on the field, you're not worth shit to me. Wentz is made of glass. Now, I understand the injury to him and Quentin Nelson, who's an all-pro guard. It's not as bad as they thought it was. But you're going to tell me that this is the only injury he's going to have all year, Carson Wentz?
My favorite part of this whole story is they're like, he's going to be out multiple weeks. He might miss the first 3 to 4 weeks, and all of a sudden this rumors start floating around. Oh, maybe they'll go get Nick Foles. All of a sudden Carson Wentz comes out. Oh no, I'll be ready for week 1.
We'll be ready for week 1, both of us. We have the same injury, and we have a difference of 100 pounds, but we're both going to be back for week 1.
Dude, this guy's worst nightmare would be if Nick Foles rolled into that fucking
I know
game.
They would never
Now,
do that. Yeah. I think
I
you'd
wouldn't
see
put
Phillip
anything
Rivers.
past, right?
You'd see Phillip Rivers before you saw Nick Foles, in my opinion.
Well, real quick, do we think Phil Rivers comes back for a season on any team?
No, it's Indianapolis or bust. I think if they needed him to come back to go to the system that he knew, they'd do it. But now the fact that he's coming back week 1, Phillip Rivers is going to keep coaching high school. But what did I tell you about my boy from University of Texas, quarterback Sam Ehlinger? That's all they're talking about in the offseason now in Indy. Jacob Eason's been there for like 3 fucking years. He's 6'7" from Washington.
I thought he was going to be good. Every
tall
quarterback sucks.
I know, it's weird. And the fact that Ehlinger was the guy that was pushing him out, if Wentz wasn't going to be there, that could have been like a Tony Romo situation where he just comes in and says, or even Dak Prescott, fuck you, I'm taking the job because you got hurt. But now they're saying Wentz is coming back for week 1. I'll believe it when I see it.
Even if he does come back, we all know it's going to be short-lived. Yeah. This guy can't stay healthy.
And
it's great for you because that means Philly ain't going to get their first-round pick.
Yeah, made of glass, and I love it. Now, let's go over to the Jaguars. Craziness is ensuing in Jacksonville. Urban Meyer's talking about how they got to compete for the quarterback job. Give me a fucking break. But I love the guy. Gardner Minshew, where's he going? Because he's not staying. Where's he going?
I don't know. I could see that being like a Houston situation. The only reason why I wouldn't say Houston is because it's in division, but
he's got to
go.
go.
I think I agree with you. I think Minshew could be a situation where it's like a quarterback goes down. So like if somebody gets hurt in like I don't know, like if Tua gets hurt or something, I could see Miami trading for Minshew. If Matt Ryan or somebody got hurt, I can see them trying to get Minshew. But where do you think off the top of your head you could see him going right now?
Off the top of my head, I can think about the Las Vegas Raiders. I can think about him putting
that's a good pick.
A little bit of pressure on Derek Carr.
Yeah,
if Derek Carr starts fucking around, then boom, then you can insert Minshew and he's got some pieces. But honestly, he's got to get the fuck out of Jacksonville. He can play. I think he's one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the league. He should be a starter somewhere.
Two teams real quick for me that I think should go get him. I just don't think it will happen. Mm-hmm. One is the Green Bay Packers. Get ready for Aaron Rodgers' departure. And 2, which I know this will never happen, but do you imagine the Baltimore Ravens, if you had an air raid offense with that defense,
I can't wait to get into Baltimore.
And the speed guys they got,
Yes.
get fucking Lamar Jackson out of there, trade him for a fucking couple first-round picks, and bring in like a guy like Minshew. Yeah. Holy shit.
Someone that can throw the ball. You said that a couple episodes ago about Derek Carr. You think if Derek Carr went to Baltimore, they'd be a whole different team. I think they'd be a whole different team if someone can throw the ball from the pocket. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, let's finish off the AFC South. Mr. Masseuse, we saw him on the practice field. Unfucking believably. He was on the practice field throwing balls, pitching balls, handing balls off with his little sweatshirt on, and you couldn't even see his number on his jersey. He looked like he was 20 pounds lighter. When the fuck is this trade going to happen, Scotty?
It's probably going to happen soon, but
come on.
It's probably going to happen soon, but let's be real. He's going to Philly. I'm just accepting it now.
He's going to be an Eagle?
I think it's done.
Even though Jalen Hurts looked fucking great in week one. You think he's going to be an Eagle?
It's hard for me to see him going anywhere else. I mean, I guess you could say Washington.
Well, you got to think of who's got the ammo, right? And we all said it was Philly, Miami, and any team that
that's the other team, I guess. Miami. It would be Miami and Philly to me. I know you said Washington. It's not a bad pick, but I think those two are make the most sense. Maybe a dark horse could be like Denver or Minnesota.
Yeah, Denver. We'll get to Denver later, but I think they're going to be in kind of a sweepstakes more for the draft. But I'm going to tell you what, this whole Watson thing is amazing because if you remember us talking about him 2 months ago, he was the hottest commodity. We were thinking some team like the Eagles had to throw 3 first-round picks at him.
It still might be 3 first-round picks.
I don't think it's that high anymore.
I really don't. Still could be.
I really don't, and I think that the Eagles are obvious because of their package that they can send. But, just because they had 2 first-round picks in one draft and another first-round pick the next year, Washington can easily say, we're going to give you 3 first-round picks the next 3 years or whatever if they wanted to do. I'm telling you, I don't think he's an Eagle dead set right now.
You know would be a good place for him to go real quick? I don't mean to cut you off. But would be a good place for him to go, and I think they actually, I don't know what their cap situation's like, so I'd have to look into it, but I think they have some of the picks now. He would be great for the NFL if he went to Detroit, man.
Yeah, I mean,
because it would kind of be like, it would kind of kill a little bit of the media shit because people don't follow Detroit as much, but it would also put Detroit on the map because I think he'd be good enough to make them relevant.
Well, let me just stick in the division real quick, and then we'll get off of Watson. I really believe that forget about the Eagles and forget about Washington. If Daniel Jones does not prove himself this year, how about Deshaun Watson as a New York Giant?
Won't happen. It won't happen. The owners there are too conservative. They won't bring a guy like that in. Yeah. The New York Giants have Russell Wilson written all over it. That's going to be Russell Wilson's team.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the sound of that at all.
Me neither, dude. I don't want to hear fucking Giant fans tell me how great their team is again. But
now, listen. I mean, let's not get into that. But do you think the Packers drama is over? Is it finally over with this Rodgers thing?
Hell no. Are you crazy? It's not even close to being over. Okay. I cannot. I'm not even like a big fan of watching the Packers. Like I like watching Aaron Rodgers, but like to me, it's not like I'm like, oh, I got to tune into the Packers, dude. I'm gonna watch every fucking game this year because I just can't wait to the post game press conferences. Dude, Rodgers is gonna be taking shots at the organization after every game. Every time Rodgers fucks up, he's gonna throw like 4 interceptions in a game, which that won't happen. But let's say he throws an interception in the red zone to win the game, and he blows the game with an interception. Instead of him being like, oh, I made a mistake, I made the wrong read, whatever, he's going to do typical Aaron Rodgers fashion, blame everybody else.
Yep.
And then he's going to take 3 shots at the fucking organization about why they suck because of them. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a soap opera made for fucking NFL TV, dude.
You're right.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. And what do you think? Give me your quick comment on you think Jordan Love's got it or not?
I haven't seen any of them yet, really. Have you? Has he? He hasn't played yet, right?
He hasn't played yet, but he's going to take over this preseason. And as we all know, Rod ain't going to fucking play in the preseason. And this is going to be the telltale sign on if they fucked up and pulled a Paxton Lynch and drafted this guy at the end of the first round. And we're going to see. I think
they probably did.
I think
and just so we make sure we touch on it, he did just sign that 2-year extension. But after the year, the second year, he has like an opt-out. So it's a 1-year extension because he's not staying there after this fucking year.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, I don't think they're going to want him either. Now, you want to talk about Minnesota, the rival to the Packers in the North. They get nasty-ass pass rusher Danielle Hunter back. But the guy that we've loved in this NFL draft, offensive lineman Christian Darrisaw, has now had his second fucking groin surgery in the offseason. Yikes. I don't like that. I don't like that for Kirk Cousins. I don't like that for the offensive line of Minnesota. I really believe Minnesota is going to be very, very, very similar to Atlanta in the fact of they are going to put up a lot of points. I think their defense is going to be okay, but I still think that they are missing some pieces, and I do not like Kirk Cousins.
Look, I've been riding this Minnesota train for like the last 3 years, and I'm ready to get off. All right, I'm ready to fucking. I'm waiting for the next stop because I can't even explain this team. It's like you take the Dolphins team and say, okay, they got a solid offense, they got a great defense, and the Dolphins have a questionable quarterback because you don't know what Tua is going to be. You do all that, but throw in a capable quarterback like Kirk Cousins who can actually sling the ball and really isn't that bad. I think he gets a little fucking bashed on more than he probably should. That team should have been phenomenal for the last fucking 3-4 years now. They've underperformed every year, so I'm done. I'm over. I can't explain them, and it just feels like time goes on, they start losing pieces. It just gets worse and worse. So I'm done with them. They've
had injuries. They've had bad kicking. They've had a terrible kicking game for the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have come down to that. It's not like
there's something with their coaching. There's something.
It's not like they're 10-6, 11-5, 12-4, and they're just missing the playoffs because the Packers are so good. It's legit. They're like 7-9. They're 6-10. They're 8-8. Yep. It's like, dude, it shouldn't that those kicking games and those injuries, maybe 1 or 2 games difference, that's still not enough. You should be 10-6 with the kicking problems.
Yeah, no, they're underperforming for sure, and you should jump off that fucking train. Because
I'm about to get off, man.
Yeah, I don't like the Vikings train. Now, you want to talk about Detroit, and you want to see Deshaun Watson play in Detroit. They're loving fucking Jared Goff over there, but they cut cornerback Quentin Dunbar to sign cornerback Nickel Roby-Coleman. I think they signed him because they're just they want to up their PI percentage. That guy is consistently fucking early to the football, and you remember that's the guy who they didn't call fucking pass interference on with the Rams Saints a couple years ago in the playoffs. But the biggest thing that they're saying in the offseason and in training camp with the Lions is they're missing a fucking wide receiver. And this goes back to why did they not take a guy? Why'd they take a Penei Sewell instead of a fucking playmaking wide receiver, knowing you're bringing in Jared Goff in the big trade with the Rams?
Well, that's why I had Kyle Pitts going for them, remember?
Well, yeah, but it was a little too late. But at the same time, drafting 7th,
I had him trading up.
I know they had Waddle off the board, but they could have taken Devontae Smith. They could have taken Bateman. They could have taken any of these other wide receivers that were still there, and they took Penei Sewell instead. They're missing the wide receiver big time, and I think it's going to bite them in the ass this season.
I agree with you, but I don't think they're looking at this season. I know this is hard to say because these guys' jobs are on the line. I don't think they're looking at this season as being like, we got to win this season. I think this is going to be a rebuild season. I think they're retooling this year. Yeah. So I don't think they give a shit. They'll probably go after like a Michael Thomas or somebody else next year, but I don't think they give a fuck.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's Dan Campbell's first year, so we'll see how many fucking lion heads they got at the games. But I think he's a fucking nut job. Now, let's go to Chicago. We feel bad for those fans, but now I think they can see the light at the end of the fucking tunnel. I'm going to ask you one quick question only. That's all I want to ask about the Bears. When does Justin Fields take over from the Red Rifle?
I would say week 1, but because
wow.
Well, that's what I would originally say, but I think we talked about this. The fact that they're going to try to save their ass, they'll probably wait till like week 4 or 5.
So you think is it going to be an injury to Dalton, or is it just going to be
no?
Okay,
they'll just say it's time.
Okay.
But I mean, I think if they're smart, they'll just start on week 1. You got to start this guy. But I think they'll try to save their career a little bit, extend their fucking their real estate property so they don't have to move, and basically be like, hey, we're going to start Andy Dalton, and when he loses the first 4 or 5 games, then they'll insert Fields and be like, look, we would have won the division if we started him from the get-go, but we needed him to get ready, so give us another year and we'll show you.
Yeah, we'll show you, yeah. And they're going to say, oh, we'll show you the fucking door, see you later. You only finished fucking 9-8, and we could have been 12-5, so fuck you.
Yeah, I think it'd be stupid not to start in week 1, though.
Yeah, it really wouldn't. I would give Dalton the first half of the first week, and then if they're not looking what they're how they want to look, then boom, you throw Fields in there and just let him go, because Fields is legit. And like I said, I hope the Jets do not have buyer's remorse. Now let's go over to the AFC North, and the Steelers' fucking defense just keeps getting better and better. The Jacksonville Jaguars trade them Joey Schobert, former Pro Bowl linebacker. which just signed a monster deal with the Jaguars last year. They trade him over to fucking Pittsburgh for a fucking dog and a pony, I believe.
I don't even know what the details are.
It was a late round pick, they say. Really,
I'll just say this for the people. For those who forget, Devin Bush is coming off an ACL injury last year.
Devin Bush, the kid Spillane can play. I was just gonna say Joey Schobert on the inside too, playing behind that D line. You got fucking Watt on the outside. They still got Minka Fitzpatrick and all the guys in the secondary. It's insane, but Big Ben's still gonna fuck this team over, and Dwayne Haskins ain't the fucking answer. I don't give a shit how good he looks in preseason. This team is going. I know you love him. I know you think I'm getting too hard on Pittsburgh. They got no fucking offensive line, and Big Ben is gonna put them in trouble, and they have no backup.
I think Big Ben's looking all right. Haskins didn't even look that bad, even though he's trash. But he didn't look that bad in preseason so far. And for those who don't know Joey Schobert, because he's not a household name, he's not bad. He's pretty good. He's one of 14 players to have 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 sacks for consecutive seasons. So he's going to definitely help that defense.
He is a linebacker.
When Devin Bush is back, fully ready to rock, it's going to be a nice core.
Joe Schobert is the definition of a linebacker. Think about when Sean Lee was on the field healthy. When he played healthy, that's this kid. Tackles everything, can pick balls off, strips you, sacks you. He's a fucking linebacker.
Yeah, so folks, just go back to the 3 games in the fucking 10-year career that Sean Lee's been healthy.
How little we forget.
And you can watch those 3 games and see how he looks.
We forget. The fucking guy's gonna be in the Ring of Honor, but the poor bastard like Romo, Romo couldn't get over the dropped hold he had against Seattle his first year.
C.J. Mosley played 3 quarters for the Jets in 2 years. I think he might have played more than Sean Lee played for the fucking Cowboys.
Jesus Christ. Now let's move on to the Cleveland Browns, the most, you want to talk about decorated team on paper. This is definitely the best team in the NFL on paper, but they have, in my opinion, the quarterback that has the most pressure on his fucking shoulders of any quarterback in Baker Mayfield. He's on his 4th year. They didn't give him the fucking 5th-year option because they're saying, show me, Baker.
Will you leave Shake and Bake alone,
Show me, Baker. What do you got?
So hard on Shake and Bake.
We got this. I love this guy coming out of college.
I still like the guy.
I think he's a cocky jerk-off, and I think it's just like the rest of the team that they got. But this is a team where if he cannot win with this team, if I'm Cleveland, bye-bye.
See, I'm not even worried about Bake. I think Baker's going to be fine. I think this team's going to be great. I mean, who knows? Maybe this is a spot for fucking Watson because you swap out that quarterback in that team.
Forget about it.
But I think the big story right now with the Browns is what to expect for Odell Beckham. I don't know what we're going to see. I don't know if he's done. I don't know if he's going to be traded. I mean, hey, maybe that's a spot where fucking Detroit throws. I mean, Odell will be miserable there, but maybe you send fucking Odell to Detroit and help out fucking Mr. Goff.
Then you should use him as fucking bait with your Lions. That's what I would do.
I always liked Odell. I think he can be a drama queen, and a lot of wide receivers are, but he just doesn't fit this offense for whatever reason. But I think what he does going forward this season or where he goes could be a major impact for the Browns and the NFL in general.
Yeah, if I'm them, I take advantage of his name value, get some more value that he's worth, and bring him in and bring some picks in for this guy because he's fucking done.
I could see them playing him like 2-3 games, just give him a couple balls and making him look good, and then shipping him out.
He's done. But you want to talk about another team that's orange in that division that I love.
That's also done.
I love where the Cincinnati Bengals are going, and I'm telling everybody
straight to the basement.
That will fucking listen. I got a little bit left in the basement, They're going to shock the world. They're going to shock the NFL world this year. And Joey Burrow is going to show everybody why he's the number 1 pick.
Maybe you should read up a little bit more on the camp because Dr. Tomas brought it to my attention, and I went and looked into it because I couldn't believe it. Your boy, Joey Burrow, looks like garbage. Hot garbage in fucking training camp right now.
Okay.
They're so concerned about how bad he looks. I was just reading, they're saying his knee might still be injured. They might decide to try to put him back in some type of rehab. That's how bad this guy looks. So you better hope this is just some growing pains of him getting back into the flow here because your whole division winner pick is looking crazier and crazier by the fucking day.
All right, well let's get to the season and we'll see what happens then. But I got faith in Joey Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Joe Mixon. Now the Baltimore Ravens, they picked up Justin Houston. They get a couple more sacks out of this guy in their already nut job pass rush centric defense that they already got now, forget about it. I love it. They lost Rashad Bateman, like you said, to a little bit of a leg injury. He's going to miss probably the first couple weeks of the season. Don't like that. But the biggest storyline with the Ravens is Lamar Jackson has to prove to me in his third full year starting he can throw from the pocket. And I don't think he can. And I think we're in agreement with that. And I think if Baltimore had a quarterback that can push the ball down the field from the pocket in the clutch, this team would be almost unbeatable.
Rock, if it doesn't tell you everything you need to know that Josh Allen just got paid off of one pretty good, really good season, but this fucking cat won the MVP and they haven't even had contract talks yet, if that does not tell you everything you need to know, it tells me that the Ravens aren't buying into Lamar Jackson as much as we aren't buying into Lamar Jackson. Well, they probably see the speed they got, and the guy can't get the ball accurately to him.
Well, buddy boy, this is exactly what we're talking about with Mayfield and Cleveland. They are not sold yet. I believe they're not sold on Lamar because not only what he's shown in the playoffs, but also the fact that this whole thing with now the quarterback of the team, leading the team, has now gotten COVID twice and is missing time. You get COVID, you miss 10 fucking days of practice. And he's not going to get the vaccine, and he doesn't think it's a big deal. I think there's a lot more than just what Lamar's doing on the field is why Baltimore's not buying into this guy. He's selling out. I think he's top 3 in jerseys since he's been in the fucking league. He sells out. He puts asses in the seats. Fans love him, but why don't they want to pay him?
And I agree with you, but here's the thing. I'm not going to compare him to Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield hasn't done shit. He really has had he had his rookie season, which was great. Then he sucked. And then he had the second half of last season. He was good. And they won a playoff game or made the playoffs and won a playoff game. Outside of that, he's done nothing. Lamar Jackson has won the MVP of the league.
Yep.
And he has not gotten a dime.
I know.
That, to me, tells me a lot. And again, I agree with you. There also could be discrepancies with what he's doing off the field, with his views and beliefs on this vaccine thing. That could also be playing a huge role. The Baltimore Ravens front office and ownership is no joke. They're considered very elite, and then they're probably going to take this shit seriously. Rashad Bateman, I think, is a big deal too. I guess not a big deal, but to me it's a big deal because I wanted to see this kid, and now they're saying he might miss the opening week, maybe a couple weeks. And the fact that it's a groin surgery, this could be lingering or could be an issue all season.
Yeah, for the whole season. I'm with you. Now, let's get over to the NFC West. Let's go all the way across the country. I want to talk about the San Francisco 49ers. Scotty boy, how long do we see Jimmy G at quarterback before they insert Trey Lance? Lance?
It's Lance. Probably the third quarter of the first game when Jimmy G goes down for his 17th injury.
Now, let's just get serious. Do you think it's an injury, or do you think it's it's the third or fourth week, we've seen enough, bada bing, bada boop, let's trade Jimmy G before the deadline, and let's put Lance in.
I got a feeling Jimmy might even get traded before fucking week 1, to be honest with you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
okay.
Because I think what they're thinking is, if you read any reports, they're talking up both guys right now, and that tells me if you're talking up Trey Lance and you're talking up Jimmy G, saying Jimmy G looks better than he ever has, that tells me two things. One, you're trying to say, hey, Trey's ready to go, and two, you probably want to take a flyer and try to get Jimmy here because he's going to make your team better. And if they know Jimmy, which we all know Jimmy, he can't stay healthy, they're probably going to want to move him before they play him a couple games and he gets hurt and his trade value goes dead.
Yeah, I think you're right on it. You're right on it because I also think that's got Kyle Shanahan written all over it. You little slimy bastard. He's trying to get, he's trying to put some shit out there.
You hate this guy.
It's terrible. You can't believe he talks out of both sides of his mouth. You can't believe anything the guy says. But again, I think that Jimmy G's there week 1. I do think he gets traded early. And I do believe that Trey Lance gets in there, whether it's an injury or not. But I think Trey Lance will be in there before September's over with. Let's go to our boy Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. Did you see that they had to cut Aldon Smith already?
No, he already has. He's got some arrest warrant for like domestic violence or something against him.
But they kept Marshawn Lynch for so long. But I'm going to tell you what. Your boy Jamal Adams, he was kind of my boy too. He's lost all my fucking respect. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why. Seattle is paying him right now. He's getting paid a little bit less than $10 million a year right now. They traded 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick to get this fucking guy, probably the best safety in the game. They have a deal on the table for this guy, 4 years, $70 million, which is about 17.5 a year, and then
highest paid safety in the league.
38 guaranteed. This motherfucker said, "Nah, you know what? I want at least $2 more million a year, and I want more guaranteed money, and I want it front loaded. I'm done. I'm done with these fucking players." Le'Veon Bell, now Jamal Adams. I'm done with these guys who are literally fucking balking at contracts for pennies.
Real quick,
I'm
I just
done.
want to say, if you're a Seahawks fan, you're between a rock and a hard place because you gave up 2 firsts, a third, and a starting fucking safety for this guy, which is I love the guy. I think he's one of the best safeties in the league. That's absurd for a safety. Absurd.
Yep.
But on top of it, you got Dwayne Brown, who's the left starting tackle for Russell Wilson, and his offensive line was atrocious. I think he was the second highest sacked or hit quarterback in the league, next to fucking Carson Wentz, because the guy likes to hold on to the ball for 2 hours. But outside of Dwayne Brown, they need him. He's holding out because he wants to get paid. And fucking Pete Carroll would rather pay Jamal Adams than Dwayne Brown. And Russell Wilson's saying, "Yo, no, we need Dwayne Brown." So now you're facing a situation as a Seahawks fan where you either pay Jamal Adams a shit ton of money and you lose your left tackle, so Russ is going to be even less sufficient, or you pay your left tackle and you basically say, "I gave up 2 firsts, a third, and a player for a fucking 1-year rental of a fucking safety." It's a disaster, dude. If I'm a Seahawks fan, I'm pulling my hair out right now.
Disaster. And again, Jamal Adams has lost my respect. I think he's one of the best safeties, if not the best safety in the game. I'm done with these fucking guys talking about pennies on the dollar based on the contracts that they're getting, and it's not enough. Fuck them. That's what I say. Now, you want to talk about the Los Angeles Rams. I really believe you want to talk about draft picks and not having draft picks or having a bunch of them. They haven't had a first-round draft pick in, I think, 36 years. And they're not going to have it for the next 5 years. They are very barren, in my opinion, in talent all across the board. They got some fucking all-pros. They got Donald. They got Cooper Kupp. They got
Doesn't barren mean not having it?
Yeah, they don't have a lot of talent. They got Jalen Ramsey. They got
a
fucking
shit ton of talent.
Not I wouldn't say all over the place.
Surplus of talent.
If you look at their fucking roster, I'm worried, especially now that Cam Akers is gone for the season. Stafford has to prove to me that he's just not a stat monster like he was in Detroit. I personally don't see it. I don't think he's got enough talent around him to make him the player that they want him to be. I think Sean McVay's a motherfucker. I don't see it. I see this was it was a personal problem between Jared Goff and Sean McVay. Matt Stafford will not take the Rams to the promised land. I think they're one of the most overrated teams in the league.
I think you're crazy. I think they're going to be good, and I think Matt Stafford's going to show he is one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay, all right. And again, he also has to stay healthy too, which is another big thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, last team in the NFC West, we can talk about Arizona being the Oldenals. We can talk about them, bringing in all these old-ass players and Kyler Murray kind of, is he the guy? Is he not the guy? Does Cliff Kingsbury have a crush on him? We can go into many different things with Arizona. But I want to talk about the most amazing thing that Arizona is doing is they are the first team in the NFL to get an in-stadium sports book. How about that, Scotty? You go to a Cardinals game, and you can go and say, you know what, maybe it's halftime, maybe I'm here early, whatever. I'm going to go bet on some motherfucking games in the stadium.
Well,
how fucking great is that?
I think it's good that this topic is up for them because outside of Kurt Warner being there for a couple years, the Cardinals are one of the most boring teams in the NFL for the past fucking 20 years. Like, there's literally nothing I can bring up that's like slightly entertaining or slightly interesting. I love Larry Fitz, but he's also a very boring individual. There's literally been nothing exciting about them. So I'm excited that this has come out so we have something to talk about.
They're in the desert. You can go to the University of Arizona Stadium for and watch a Cardinals game, and also put in some fucking bets, just like you're at the MGM or the fucking Bellagio in Las Vegas. It's pretty
Future
awesome.
of the NFL.
Pretty awesome, and I hope that the rest of the league gets on board with that shit. Now let's go to the AFC West. I know we normally would talk about the AFC West champion first, the Super Bowl, the AFC champion themselves, the Kansas City Chiefs. No. I want to talk about the team who's going to win this fucking division this year, the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert is the fucking real deal.
You hear what they're saying about Justin Herbert?
He's the real deal.
Look. I love this team as much as you do, and I'm all in on this team. But I'm gonna tell you right now, they're calling him a top 3 potential player this year. Fucking Mike Greenberg said he's gonna win the MVP of the league. These fucking guys are smoking crack.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Crack, dude.
The shit that I'm looking at with this guy in the offseason, what they've done to help out his offensive line, you got his wide receiver core is still nasty. I can't wait I'm still waiting on your Keenan Allen stories.
I think he's going to be great. I'm not ready to say, oh, this guy's going to take the league by storm. Saying you're a top 3 quarterback in the league is a very high praise.
Just wait. And if this defense plays like they can and fucking they all stay healthy, especially Derwin James. If they stay healthy, the Chargers will win this division. Book it. Now, you want to get to, I know you think I'm nuts because I know you love the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, did they rebuild their offensive line this year? Of course. Did they rebuild their defensive line? Yes, they did. But did they fix a running game? Did they bring in anybody on the linebackers where Tom Brady went over the top dinking and dunking on them all Super Bowl long? And did they, like I said, with the running game, did they bring in someone who's not 5'7" that can run the football all game long? No, they didn't. So I'm not a real big fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. On top of the fact that
you're not a fan of Hilaire? You forget about Hilaire?
That's what I'm saying. He's 5'7". He can't run the ball all game. He doesn't do it. And even though my boy Nick Bolton, in the second round, they drafted him and he's going to start on the inside, they are very weak in linebacker too, and I don't really love their secondary. I think Matthews fucking too aggressive, and their corners are a dime a dozen.
You remember the year that the Drew Brees and the Saints won the Super Bowl?
I do.
You remember who their running back was?
Pierre Thomas, I believe, and the
little guy. I mean, actually, I don't remember Mark Ingram. No, Mark Ingram wasn't there.
No, it wasn't there. It was Pierre Thomas and fucking who else?
Darren Sproles.
But he wasn't their fucking every down back. Hilaire's their every down back.
He played quite a bit.
I'm going to tell you what, I don't like Mahomes' ability to be durable either. So I am off the Chiefs. And I really believe that this team is not as automatic as people think.
I think they're automatic. I think they're going to be AFC Championship at least.
Okay. Now let's go to the Las Vegas Raiders. All I can say about the Raiders is the Raiders are going to be the Raiders. 8-9, 9-8 at most. It all lies on Derek Carr.
There's only 2 things to talk about with the Raiders: the new stadium and the fact of what Derek Carr is going to be. Because last year he was like fucking either looked okay or he looked like shit. He never even looked good. So he needs to either step up and be great, or he needs to get the fuck out of town and find a new situation.
There's really only one question that I can ask you about the Raiders. When are we going to stop sucking off John Gruden? When?
I've never sucked off John Gruden.
As a collective NFL fan base, what is so special about John Gruden? Because he makes faces? Because he's got
a good voice.
I
love his quarterback camp show.
Right. Yeah, he's got 11-word long plays. Fine, okay. But him and Mike Mayock have completely mediocreized, I just made that fucking word up, the Las Vegas Raiders. When are we going to start sucking them off?
He took a Tony Dungy team and won a Super Bowl. That's about it.
Exactly. Okay, so that's it. I'm done with Gruden. The Raiders are going to be right in the middle. It's enough. Now, the last team we're going to talk about, you Denver Broncos fans, I hate to tell you, you're in the race for Sam Howell sweepstakes in the 2022 NFL Draft. I don't believe this whole Aaron Rodgers bullshit. I don't believe this whole Watson bullshit. I think you're trying to go younger at quarterback. Drew Lock sucks. Teddy Bridgewater is the most conservative quarterback in the league. You are not going to score points. That defense will be okay. Vic Fangio will be on his way out, and Denver will be looking for a new coach and a new quarterback in 2022.
Yeah, you're probably right. I've heard some good things about Drew Lock, but who knows? Maybe they be in the Minshew fucking sweepstakes.
So I think Denver is in trouble, and the AFC West is going to be the Chargers. Now, Scotty boy, let's finish this up. I really believe that was a great rapid fire for the whole NFL, all 32, keeping you updated with what's going on, what we think. Let's finish this up. We want the Jerkoff of the week.
So I was thinking about going Joe Judge. I was thinking about going a couple other guys. I mean, I didn't really have anyone particular in the NFL that I thought was really deserving of it. So I had to go outside the NFL, and I'm not normally going to do this, but I had to do it just this one time. So I thought you might like this. I'm going to go with an NBA player.
Oh, boy.
My Jerkoff of the week is LeBron James.
Oh.
And
It's
I got
about
it for
fucking time.
I got it for two reasons. One, this Jerkoff being the worst GM in history, getting Russell Westbrook for those who watch. And two, I just saw Space Jam 2 the other day. One of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen in my life.
I'm so shocked. I can't even imagine
so
that.
Because of this, I had to just let everyone know LeBron James is my Jerkoff of the week. And yeah, I'm just very disappointed.
Jerk off of the week, LeBron James. That couldn't have been more sweeter music to my ears. I'll tell you what, and I can't believe Scotty G came out with that. Space Jam 2. Yeah, give me a fucking break. Now, just to finish off this episode 22, I just want to talk about real quick. There are some remaining free agents that I really can't believe are still out there. Okay, and
anyone for the Jets or what?
Let me just name a few. I got 4 running backs. Todd Gurley, Frank Gore, Adrian Peterson, and Duke Johnson are still without a team, unbelievably. I got a wide receiver, Golden Tate, who's still out of the league. And then you got 4 guys on defense, Geno Atkins, KJ Wright, Josh Norman, and Richard Sherman are still without NFL teams. These are most of these guys are NFL icons, and they're out of the league. It's
you also named everyone who's a jerk-off or old as shit. Richard Sherman's probably done in the league. Golden Tate's trying to bang everybody's wife.
Yep.
Even Geno Atkins is a little older, but he's not bad.
These are former all-pros, some of these fucking
Adrian
guys.
Peterson's about 50 years old. Frank Gore is about 80 years old. Duke Johnson, I'm surprised, but he can't stay on a team either. I feel like he might be a jerk-off as well. Only a couple guys on there I even think would still be real assets to bring on your squad. So the Todd Gurley thing's a little weird, but I know he's had the fucking... The arthritis. I mean, maybe that's a guy that goes to like Kansas City, helps out with little Hilaire.
Yeah, we'll see. But I just couldn't believe that some of these guys were still out there, folks. Episode 22 is in the books. Episode 23, when we come back at you, we are gonna hit you on every angle. 2021 fantasy season. We're gonna hit you in every which way on how to ace your draft. And how to get to the championship this year, because that's what we're going to do. Scotty G and Rocco B are going to meet up this year, I'll guarantee it, in the fucking championship. And then episode 24, the last episode before the season starts, we are going to hit you with all of the Vegas odds and our predictions over under on wins, who's going to win the division, and who we ultimately think is going to be playing for the Lombardi Trophy in the Super Bowl next year. So until then, this has been Rocco B and Scotty G, and we're going to say see you later and sayonara to episode 23.
Adios.